morning. Good morning. This is Sinder again. We're here another week. Thank you for meeting us at the second half where we're going to let the healing begin. On today, I'm just so excited because one of my favorite people in the city of New Orleans is here sharing with us on today. And we're going to have an awesome show. We're going to open the phone lines, so get ready to call in, 504-341-8255. Good morning, sir. How are you? Mr.
Wow.
Oliver Thomas.
Wow, it's just great, Cindy. It's just great to be here with you. Feeling blessed and just excited about doing your show with you.
Thank you so much. We've got something we need you to watch. Listen in. Born and raised in New Orleans, Oliver attended public schools, graduating from J.S. Clark High School. Mr. Thomas is a graduate of the College of Santa Fe, New Mexico. He completed Harvard's executive program for community leaders and attended the Aspen Institute. Mr. Thomas worked in international travel for International Weekends Charter Travel Agency in Boston and New York. Oliver began his political career in New Orleans as legislative aide and policy analyst for Jim Singleton. He was the project manager for the Downtown Development District. Mr. Thomas was resident advisor for HUD, and he was first elected as councilman for District B in 1994, serving 2 terms before being elected to an at-large seat in 2002, where he served as council president until 2007. Mr. Thomas is an actor, writer, producer, and poet. He led, co-wrote, and acted in the hit play Reflections, and was the lead actor in Harold Ellis Clark's Fishers of Men. Mr. Thomas is the host of the WBOK, The Good Morning Show, and the owner of Outreach LLC, and a public policy consultant. He is a husband, a father, and a community leader. We welcome Mr. Oliver Thomas. Wow, that's awesome.
Man,
You're awesome.
Who's that guy?
I know. Well, it's you. It's you. Oh, we're so excited. Not only are we excited, sir, for you to just stop by our little show to share with us, but we're honored. You're one of our favorites.
First of all, you're kind of like Miss Perfect, right?
Oh my.
And the show is excellent. It's first class, but everything you do has a touch of splendor.
Thank you. God is good to me.
Yes, He is.
He's good to us. And we're so used to listening to you Monday through Friday, 6:30 to 9 on WBOK, where I understand that you now have the #1 show. Yay.
Yeah, it's been talking about blessings, and it really is. We do market share now. The show has grown tremendously, and just sharing that message of information with people to help them in their daily lives. It's the same thing you do.
Thank you. You give a platform to those in the community, and thusly, regionally and throughout the country, an opportunity to share their visions, their dreams, and to keep us informed.
And talk radio is hot again. I think. It's talk. First of all, talk radio is never going anywhere, and people are watching television a lot less today.
Yes,
they're looking for information sources that address them where they are in their community. And so, what we do right now is, it not only is it a blessing to be able to do it, but it's helpful to a lot of people, and people want it.
They want it. They want a platform, and they want their voices to be heard. And we need to be able to trust.
And they want information.
Yes.
They don't want alternative facts.
Right,
and they don't want what they get from mainstream media now, which are these short stories with no depth. They want some meat on their news.
Yes, absolutely.
They want some facts and figures that'll help them in their lives.
Absolutely. In preparing for this show, we did some social media, and the interaction was absolutely awesome. Whenever your name is mentioned, I'm not a native of New Orleans, but whenever your name is mentioned, there's such pride that takes place, in the people who talk about you and conversate. I remember when I first moved here, and I did not know you, but you were, on the political
Holstein, and I, would hear your name and heard of the good works that you were doing. And then a little later, there was some things that were going on. I observed that, as we all did. But the thing that was most empowering was when you came back. And how you came back. You didn't come back through a back door. You didn't slip in. You came through, you kicked the door down. And you were so transparent, and you were so willing to tell your story and admit to things that you could have done differently. And I just want to say that it's so important to me. This is important for me to say today, that we thank you.
Well,
we
you.
thank you for your transparency. We thank you for setting a platform where we can see that if you fall down, you really can get up and soar to the stars. So thank you this morning for that, sir.
Anthony Bean, of course, Soulville this weekend, starring in with the annual kids production that Anthony does end of the summer. It's at Southern University. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, Saturday at 8 and Sunday at 3. That's at Southern Soulville.
Okay.
Anthony Bean challenged me when I was on vacation. And he asked me if I was only capable of leading when things were going my way.
Wow.
Did I think, he asked me, did I think it would be worth it to use my life? And the good and the bad as a way to help people. And I had not wanted to accept that challenge. But when he asked me that question,
yes, and
when he said, when a friend, somebody who loves you says, hey, man, so you can just lead when things are going well.
Wow.
So that's it. That's just your mission, right? And I was like, no, man,
That's a call to action.
that was a call to action. And it was just interesting to sit down and write reflections and the way it was done. We sold out every night. We turned over 1,000 people for the first run. And when he told me, he said, man, here's a chance. He said, nobody in your business is ever transparent.
Right.
They're never honest about their shortcomings. They're never honest about where they failed. He said, but we all do.
We all do.
He said,
we all do, yeah.
They all do.
We all do.
And it was amazing. I went from there to HBO series Treme. I did 2 seasons there as a featured character. Movie Deluge with Nigel Moomin. And then working with Harold Clark, man, on his series of Fishers of Men and his writings and so many other productions. And it's been, I never thought, Cinder, I did. There was a part of me that wanted to go away. But
I'm sure.
It's like we said earlier when you were off air, you never know who's watching.
Never know.
You never know who's interested in your life. So when those other people stepped up and said, no, you can't go away.
Yes.
God has gifted you to share all phases of your life.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you being a man of faith, and I know that you are, you have chosen what you said that the gentleman just said to you. Can you only lead when things are going well? Wow. And you can't be, Boomer's Lifestyle Network is about that 50 demographic, even though that's not all that we minister to or we, share information with to anyone. It's for everybody, because if you're not there, you're going to be there. But you cannot be 50 and beyond and not have some kind of challenges.
What you're doing with Boomers is absolutely wonderful and unbelievable because, I have this saying is that there are elder statesmen and state women, all right, who've earned the right to kind of go away and do their thing.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean they have to.
Right.
And it doesn't mean they should. Right. There's so much life after 50. Life after 60. Life after 70 now. And Cinder, the beauty about what Boomers is doing is that we're needed.
We need it, yes.
So even if you want to sit on the sideline, right, and just kind of do you, man, there's a place for you.
Yes. There's a lot of work left to be done.
And a lot of work left to be done.
Absolutely.
In life.
Because we still have the vibrancy of youth, because we're not our grandmothers, I like to say this, we're not our mothers and grandmothers 50. However, we have the wisdom of the age.
My last 2 movie roles that I did, two of the shows I did, were written for 40 and 45-year-old actors, and I got the parts.
Wow.
And played those roles. So it's a different kind.
It's a different kind.
It's a different kind of 50 and 60
second half, yes.
today.
Yes, absolutely it is. It is. And I want you to take this. We're getting ready to go to break in a few minutes, but take this opportunity to just share with, to empower or to encourage the boomers and beyonds using, like you just said, using your life, using your testimony that we all have, come short. The word teaches us we have sinned and come short of the glory. Encourage us right now.
Well, let me say this. Isaiah 43 and 19 is one of my favorite scriptures, that in Matthew 25, 35, and 36. But in Isaiah 43, 19, God says, I will do a new thing in you.
A new thing.
He doesn't say when.
Wow.
He doesn't put an age, a date, a time, or he doesn't put an expiration on it. He says, I will do a new thing in you. And that new thing can be at 15, 25, 35, 55, 65, or 95. When God says he's going to do a new thing in you, wow, it used that thing.
He meant what he said.
And he meant what he said.
And it won't be the last thing.
And it won't be the last thing.
After that new thing, another new thing will come.
And I tell folk all the time, man, I don't want to roll with anybody who hasn't survived some turmoil, some stress. Yeah, look, I don't want to be around folk who don't know what it's like to be hungry, thirsty, alone, unloved, unneeded, and unwanted. Because those people who survive those things, they're the most special people God put on this earth. Sitting in that prison cell and in that library, I learned something about 95% of all the people who changed the world. They had something in common. They were hungry, thirsty, thought they were going to die, or in prison, or unwanted or unloved. So why did God use them? From Malcolm to Martin to Gandhi to Mother Teresa to Pinochet to Guevara. Why did God pick those people who thought it was over?
Wow. It's not over till it's over.
Because it ain't over.
Oh, my gosh. I need to take a break right now. We better take a break so I can holler and praise the Lord. So we're going to break right now, and we'll be back in a moment with Oliver Thomas. Awesome.
Yeah, that was one.
Save the date. The 2017 Boomers Family Expo and Health Fair promises to deliver. There will be food, boomer fun, and vendors galore, and an entertainment stage that will rock with your favorites from the 60s and 70s. Come one, come all. Boomers, bring your seniors and your grads to the 2017 Boomers Family Expo, Saturday, October 28th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Mellot Park Center in Gretna. For more information, visit 2017boomersfamilyexpo.com.
What's up, readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M. Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there.
Hi, I'm Linda Lewis with Lewis Armstrong Family Services here live at New Orleans Talk Network. We're here every Thursday at 11 a.m. Come join us. Thank you.
There's soul food, and then there's food for the soul. At a time where we live to eat, the Praline Connection restaurant serves up recipes that reach back into days long gone. You know, the kind of meals your mama cooked up for Sunday dinner. Fried chicken with macaroni and cheese and candied yams, homemade meatloaf with garlic mashed potatoes and string beans, or Nolan's filet gumbo. That's the real soul you get only at the Praline Connection restaurant, located at the Kona, Chalmers and Frenchman Street in the Marinade.
We are back. We are back with the great Mr. Oliver Thomas. Again, Thank you for being here with us today. And we were talking earlier when we were off air about your family. How's family?
Man, family is great, man. My wife is one of the top massage therapists in the city. She, her specialty is shiatsu and stretching. One of the reasons why I look and feel
Why you look like this.
and feel like
That's why you look like this.
Look is that I get the best care. Jasmine Williams Thomas, I get the best care at home. And I'm gifted. For people who know me, they know that my son was killed in an accident 26 years ago, and I thought those days were over, but I've been gifted with a baby boy, man.
Congratulations.
Ollie Bradley.
Ollie Bradley.
Yeah.
Oh, my
he's
goodness.
10 months old now. He's bigger than most 2-year-olds.
Oh, my goodness.
And he already eats us out of house and home, but he's a happy boy.
He's a happy boy.
Yeah.
He's a happy boy. So now, is that your only child?
No, my other daughter is Leah. Everybody knows the world famous Leah Thomas.
Okay.
She
Tell us about her.
Man, Leah has a degree in certifications in cosmetology and makeup and art and design, and she's working to open up her own studio. She's a lefty like me, so we're supposed to be creative. So
Yes.
Leah. I used to tell people about Leah. I was fortunate enough not to go through terrible twos and those kind of mood things with kids. My daughter Leah had me thinking that every child in the world was an automatic blessing.
Oh, okay.
And we know
You learned
folks be
different.
lying when you can hate and love your children,
At the same
your
time.
children at the same time. But Leah was one of the best little people in the world. She is as an adult, but. We did something, her and my ex-wife, Angel LaRock Thomas, who's a great woman. We brought her all over the world. We exposed her. And I recommend to parents, we always talk about a place for children. Mm-hmm. The only place that we should guarantee for children is a place of love and care.
Yes.
Any other place where they can be exposed to life while they're protected, don't keep them away from it.
Don't keep him away.
And Leah, I brought Leah all over the world, man, and to meetings and business meetings and around people. And I think it has a lot to do with her success and her socialization.
Makes a difference, yes. I've heard of her. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting her. But yes, that's very true. And on our level, because we don't want parents to think because they don't travel and do the things that you've been privy to do, that they can't, share their children or share the world with their children.
Oh, no,
But
absolutely.
on your level.
On your look, I grew up in the lower Ninth Ward, right? Big O and Minette Thomas, they didn't have money and means to bring us places, but I traveled the world through books and through my ideas and my thoughts before I actually did it. You can expose your kid to the city. There's so much unexplored treasure.
Yes.
About this town and about where we live.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't take a lot of money to expand a child or a family's mind.
Absolutely. And while we're talking about books and children, in doing research for the show, I saw that you are involved in mentoring programs. I knew that. I'd heard about that. But share with us about some of the great work you're doing.
Several years ago, my foundation into community work and politics was through a program called Boys to Men. That I got involved with before I even got elected. I just thought it was incumbent that when I came back home, that kids that were like me and my brother, that people who were quote unquote successful, that they were exposed to. So I started mentoring at Woodson, and I received won the Jefferson Award for community service, a national award for mentoring kids who were failing school, who were now honor roll students. Something I had been missing since I had been out of politics, and it was a need, was that a good friend of mine, Hakim Kashif, one of the best intervention experts in the city with at-risk youth, who's a guy I did time with, and we developed a friendship. He started a program called Supreme Intervention, which is a peer support group, which teaches kids how to function without a role model or without an everyday mentor.
Okay.
We give them what they need to change their behavior so that whatever environment they're in, if they change the way they think, you change the way they act.
Wow.
You change the way they behave.
Absolutely.
So Supreme Intervention is it's an information-based program, a clinical-based, dealing with a lot of behavior. We also have people like Victor Sims and experts who behavior specialists who are going to come in and talk to the kids and
Yes.
see where they are. We have sociologists who are going to sit with them. We're going to have speakers. But it's a few times a week. It's more than just a role model or a mentor. It's actually work.
Evidence-based work.
Yes.
In dealing with children and people in the community, men are in trouble in the community. How do you feel that your journey, because you're so transparent that it's almost like it's a ministry with you, that you share, what you have gone through. How do you feel that impacts?
I like to tell people that it doesn't get good until you've been tested.
Yeah.
If you think you had anything going for yourself, how do you feel after you lost everything?
Yes.
Whether it's your freedom, your money, your time, the love of your life.
Yes.
So at that moment is when God actually prepares you so it can really get good, like my auntie would say.
Yeah.
Get gooder, right?
Wow.
Where it can really get better.
Yes.
Because if you are encouraged and if you survive that moment, man, there's nothing but blessings coming your way.
Yes. On the other side.
And Cinder, it's an important, powerful point, is whether you're dealing with boomers or others. Because I tell folk is that those things that make you special, you don't lose it because you go through something. That's your time to enhance it.
Yes.
Nobody takes that away from you unless you don't believe
Right.
in yourself anymore.
My goodness.
That's actually your aha moment. Now, I also tell people, I don't recommend people go through what people like you and I go through. I don't want you to go through my trials and my tribulations, but recognize that moment when it comes.
Absolutely.
Because I don't want you to lose your life, your freedom, your health, or the love of your life for you to have to make that transition. But God going to give you a moment.
Yes.
Recognize it.
Recognize it and use it.
And use it.
Use it to change the world so that we can die empty. How about that? Someone said that to me this morning.
Man.
When I die, I want to die empty.
Because I gave it all.
Gave everything
That's
I had.
right.
And then some.
And then some.
My goodness.
'Cause look, the world going to take from you anyway, so you might as well give it
Gotta
up freely
change things.
with a purpose.
Absolutely. Now, I'm going to ask you the question. The lines are open, 504-341-8255 for you guys to reach Mr. Oliver Thomas on a different platform than he normally is on with WBLK. My question to you is, are you planning to run for mayor?
Well, the election cycle is in. My cousin is actually running for mayor. Grew up in the Lower Nine. Troy Henry, the grandson of the late Chink Henry, the great labor leader that we had here. That's my father's side of the family. And I'm going to be supporting my cousin. Like I said, grew up in the Lower Nine. Pontchartrain Park, went to St. Augustine, went to Stanford, and then Carnegie Mellon Engineering School, one of the top engineering schools in the world.
Wow.
Unbelievable. He runs a $30 million company now, but he's given his life to coming back to lead this city. So I'm going to be engaged with him. I'm not ruling out public service in the future.
Okay.
But I
We're waiting.
I like the fact that my cousin, Troy Henry, grounded, gifted, and with a heart for people.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So the
Stay
answer
tuned.
to my question, stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, we are. And believe it or not, that's a question that I've received that 3 times this morning.
I get that question everywhere I go, but my focus now is on this mentoring piece that Brother Hakim and I are doing. I love helping ex-offenders when they come home. Hakim has a peer support group of men that when we're not working with the young people, that every Thursday they get together on O.C. Haley. And these brothers, man, many who come, some been home a day, some been home a year, they sit down and talk about, he does a check-in.
Okay.
And everybody has a check-in, and check-in is how you feel today.
Okay.
What's your number 1 to 10? What word?
I like that.
What word describes how you feel, whether it's good or bad or indifferent. Check in with us.
Check in.
And then we're
Love
going
it.
to talk about it.
Love
right?
it. Love it.
And then we're going to feel about it. And then we're going to share our moments. And then we're going to hug each other and shake hands and come back the next
Come
week.
back
But
the next
everybody needs to have somebody they
Yes.
can check in with.
Check in with. My goodness.
Right.
A mentor, a coach, a good friend.
Check in.
Check in.
That's right.
I love it. We have a caller on line 1.
Somebody
Hello. This is Cinder with the second half.
Hello, caller.
Hello?
Hello.
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 Can you hear us?
Bless you.
I can hear you. It's a little low, but I can hear you.
Okay. Good morning. We're here with
Good
Mr.
morning.
Oliver
How's both
Thomas.
of you?
Good morning.
I'm really enjoying the conversation. And Mr. Thomas, I just want to say that I really, really love what you're doing in the city. And my question is, I mean, after all that you've been through, how did you encourage yourself to keep going? Because I know you probably had some self-doubt, and you were probably thinking to yourself, everybody knows what I did, who's going to trust me again? What made you take that step to just keep going forward?
I was challenging, and Cindy and I were talking earlier. Anthony Bean is a good friend of mine. He's the founder of Anthony Bean Theater. And when I went to prison, Anthony would write me, and he would ask me to consider. He wanted me to journal every day, write every day. And right when it was about time for me to be released, he asked me if I would consider doing a show or using my life as a testimony to help others. And I was like, man, you crazy. No way. I'm trying to figure me out,
Yeah.
where I'm going to be and what is freedom going to be like, are people going to even care, or what the public scorn is going to be. So he asked me a question that was really important. He said, so your life has been so public and so helpful to others. He said, so the only time you can lead is when things are going your way. And he asked me to think about that, And when I thought about it, he knew I like to be challenged. And he told me if the only time you're any good to us is when you're on top, then were you ever really good for us at all? And that's what told me that there was still work to do, that I still had a purpose, and that it wasn't how other people felt about me, it was how God had given me a chance to feel about myself.
Amen.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for calling.
Thank you, absolutely.
Thank you so much for calling. We have caller 2. Caller 2's on a caller on line 2.
Hey.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, line 2.
Okay, that call is lost. I think we're going to get ready to go to break. Let's do that and try to retrieve caller on line 2.
Please call
and
back.
we'll be back to talk with Mr. Oliver Thomas. We're so excited. That's good. That's good. Good.
Yeah.
And so, what are we going to talk about next?
What's up, readers and shapers? It's your girl, Rhonda M. Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there.
Hi, I'm Linda Lewis with Lewis Armstrong Family Services here live at New Orleans Talk Network. We're here every Thursday at 11 a.m. Come join us. Thank you.
Save the date. The 2017 Boomers Family Expo and Health Fair promises to deliver. There will be food, boomer fun, and vendors galore, and an entertainment stage that will rock with your favorites from the 60s and 70s. Come one, come all. Boomers, bring your seniors and your grads to the 2017 Boomers Family Expo, Saturday, October 28th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Millard Park Center in Gretna. For more information, visit 2017boomersfamilyexpo.com.
There's soul food, and then there's food for the soul. At a time where we live to eat, the Praline Connection restaurant serves up recipes that reach back into days long gone. You know, the kind of meals your mama cooked up for Sunday dinner. Fried chicken with macaroni and cheese and candied yams, homemade meatloaf with garlic mashed potatoes and string beans, or Nolan's filet gumbo. That's the real soul you get only at the Praline Connection Restaurant, located at the Kona, Charters and Frenchman Street in the Marinade.
We are back. We are back with Mr. Oliver Thomas, and we do have a caller. We have a caller on line 1. Good morning.
Hello. Hey,
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey,
good morning.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning. Bless you.
Yes, my name is Bernard. I just got a brief comment there to Mr. Thomas, if I can.
Yes.
Sure, go right ahead.
Hey, Mr. Thomas.
Yeah, good morning,
My name is Bernard. I just want to thank you for being a great role model for men in our community. Really appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
And
Wow.
I mean, it takes a special man to, of course, to have the faith through the thick and thin, and the ups and downs and things that you've gone through. So
Yes.
I appreciate that, and you're still hanging in there. I appreciate that.
Hey, Bernard, I appreciate that.
I want to ask you one other thing, if I
Yes.
can. You mentioned a couple of foundations that you're active in. The Boys to Men Foundation, and then the Supreme
Intervention, yes.
Intervention. What is the age groups or age requirements of the minimum? What's the youngest, the oldest age for young men to participate in those programs?
With Supreme Intervention, its founder, Brother Hakim Kashif, is that there are Wednesday and Thursday groups that men can come to. There's the check-in at Ceasefire for juveniles and for teenagers, from maybe 13 to 19. That's on
13
Wednesday.
to 19?
That's
Okay.
on Wednesday.
Okay.
The Thursday group are men, ex-offenders who get together and check in about where they are in their life and uplift each
Okay.
other. That's on Thursdays at 5 o'clock at the Ceasefire office on O.C. Haley. Supreme Intervention, the model we're bringing into schools is going to be school-based.
Okay.
What we want to do is we want to ask the principals that hopefully it should be 2 schools we're going to be working in. Give us the kids you don't want, that the system doesn't want.
Okay.
I don't believe they're throwaway kids. I think they're kids who may be really difficult to deal with, but I think we have ways to get to them
Yes.
if we're willing to stick with them. So what Brother Kim and I want to do is that those kids that are borderline, that you have some behavior, some academic problems with, give us a chance to help fix them, so it can help fix us.
Okay.
That's great. That's great.
Great.
And that's going to be
So
school-based.
do they have to be a Orleans Parish resident or Jefferson Parish resident? It doesn't matter.
To come on Wednesdays and Thursdays at 5:30 at the Ceasefire office on O.C. Haley. That's the 1400 block of O.C. Haley.
Yeah, I
On
know where that is.
Wednesdays and Thursdays, you don't have to be from Orleans Parish.
Okay. Great.
Great information.
All right.
Thank you
very
so
I
much for
appreciate
calling
it.
in, Mr. Bernard.
Thank you. Yeah, thank
Okay.
you.
How can we
Okay.
help? How can we help to, with your programs and initiatives with working with
I
these
think
young
just
men?
continue to spread the word, not only about what we do. When I did the call on my show a couple months ago to say that even though so many people wanted me to run for office again, that my greatest call and challenge right now was to get back into mentoring and working with kids. I felt, as much as I love public service, I wanted to really go all in with this first. What I ask folk to do is to do the same.
Okay.
You don't have to have a program, but you got a church. Right?
Yes.
You don't have to have an institution, but
You
you
have a
know
church.
someone in a school.
Marketplace. Yes.
Right? You don't have to have your own business, but you work some way. You can mentor somebody on your business.
Yes.
Right? You can provide an internship and an apprenticeship to somebody
Correct.
on your business. So, look, we live in a world right now, and it's the beauty of what you do with boomers. We can't afford to have anybody on the sideline anymore.
That's true.
Nobody.
We have to be busy.
It's not the kind of world we live in, and it doesn't mean that you have all the resources, all the energy, all the time, and all the best health. But you got a moment.
You have a moment.
You got a good moment
Yes,
or two.
absolutely, absolutely. And I like to share that with, I work with boomers all the time, but everyone. If you have a gift and a talent and a skill, use it for the good of the world. And even if you don't have the resources, which is a lot of times what we use for excuses, once you get busy, it's something about that momentum, that provision comes. It
Man,
just
if I
comes.
could only afford to do that, I would. But you could afford to make the effort.
Yes, absolutely.
Man,
You'd be surprised.
You'd be surprised what God will give you to sustain that
Absolutely.
effort.
Get to moving. Get to moving. We have a caller online too. Right now. Good morning.
Good
You're at the second half.
Good morning.
With Mr.
Hey,
Oliver
good morning, y'all.
Thomas.
Top of the morning, Sister Miller and excuse me, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Good morning. Bless you, man.
I couldn't get your name out for a second. I'm sorry about that. I was
all
in the middle of a. But anyway, how y'all doing, man? I appreciate you being on the New Orleans Talk Network this morning, my brother. You're a breath of fresh air around here. The conversation you two are having definitely is a conversation that people need to pay attention to.
That's so true.
Our children are the future. If we cannot save them, no one else will get out here to save them, especially the at-risk youth that we have in our community. So if I had a hat on, I'd take it off to you, my brother, for getting out here and mentoring these kids, especially the at-risk youth, because Lord knows we need as many men to step up to the plate as possible.
Well, brother, what you say, I tell folk on my show, at the end of my show, many mornings, I tell folk, if you're waiting on somebody else to come do it, it probably won't get done. And every day when you look in the mirror, you're probably looking at your best chance to fix a couple of things, yourself and the rest of the world.
My goodness.
And it's important for the kids to have someone there for them to listen to them and hear them out. You served as a public servant for the city of New Orleans. You did an excellent job with that. Some things didn't go your way with that right there, but now you're back, you're on air, you're putting out the message. And a person like you, such as yourself, who knows the system, who knows what's going on in the city of New Orleans, I want to ask you a very important question because it is pertaining to the kids. And I am in fear that our kids will not have this culture that we all had a chance to experience growing up in the city of New Orleans. So if you don't mind, my brother, I would like for you to touch on some of the things that's happening in the city of New Orleans, some of the things that's going on that's pushing out our families, from out of our communities, and forcing them to live other places because they cannot afford to live in the city of New Orleans.
Wonderful.
And people are being hired to come down here and work these high-paying jobs, and our kids are not going to have a chance to get these great jobs that most people are coming in town and getting right now. So if you don't mind, can you please take out some time to talk about some of the gentrification that's going on in the city of New Orleans and some of the things we can do to prevent our kids from being pushed out of the communities? And I'll hang up and listen.
Thank you. Very important.
All right.
Very important question and topic, and very timely. Right now, in the last six months, New Orleans is the most expensive place per capita to live in.
Wow.
New Orleans has the highest one-bedroom rental, $341 higher than the national average in one of the poorest cities in America. Right now, home ownership, the cost of home ownership is a 21% increase, and extremely more unaffordable for people. Right now, in New Orleans, historical African American communities are being gentrified at a rate 2 or 3 times faster than any other place in America. Right now, in New Orleans, poor children have the highest poverty levels per capita, higher than pre-Katrina levels.
Wow.
Right now in New Orleans, the disparity in earnings between blacks and whites is $18,000 to $20,000 worse than it was before Katrina, in a city where more money is passing through New Orleans per capita than any other city in America. Right now in New Orleans and the region, 48 to 52% of African American men are unemployed, even though 14% of that 52% have degrees, they're certified in their field of discipline, they have transportation, and they can pass the drug test. Right now in New Orleans, we have more available job opportunities with billions of dollars than ever before in the history of this city. And our people, African American people and single women, and specifically single black women, are struggling more than just about any place in the nation. Real talk, young man. Thank you.
My gosh. My
Right
goodness.
now.
Right now. Is there a solution?
We're the solution.
We're the solution.
Our dollar, we generate $1.1 trillion if we were a nation, the African American community. We only keep our dollar in our community 8 hours. We know black businessmen and women and consultants and vendors that offer quality product, but we still believe their ice is colder. Our families are to the point now where only 37% of our kids grow up in a functional household with a responsible adult. We need to heal and mend our family. First of all, I wrote a piece called The Truce. There needs to be a truce between black men and black women. We are not our enemies.
Wow.
We're our salvations.
Yes.
We may not have been that good to each other, and black men have fallen short a long time ago. But our women always stuck by us in spite of ourselves.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Well, we need to get back to that. We need to ask for forgiveness amongst each other and heal so we can heal our children.
Wow.
We cannot survive if everything about us is minus and subtraction. Cinder, what happens if you keep taking away from something? What do you wind up with?
Zero, eventually.
Bingo.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I allude for a moment to the mindset when we're talking about, I was talking with someone yesterday, actually it was my beautician, and we were talking about, she was sharing that, talking about hair and beauty supplies and that kind of a thing. And I mentioned to her, one of the things that I would love to see is for our community to be able to deposit and support our own. And so, but our mindset, that's what I want you to speak on, is the mindset that we will spend our money with anybody.
Look, we operate under the premise that we don't have anything. Now, if you add us in terms of our value and per capita wealth to where we were 150 years ago to now, then I would say yes. But if you talk about how we conduct ourselves as consumers, then the answer is yes. We do have something. But something that we do have, we don't invest it back in us.
Into us.
We don't invest it back in our business. Look, it's time for our community to be intentional. As intentional as we were during Jim Crow.
Yes.
You had to be to survive.
Correct.
Because the laws
Right.
and the system said, you're not free. As intentional as we were during the Industrial Revolution, right? When Isabella Wilkerson's book, The Warmth of Our Sons, with the Great Migration, where we looked for work. As intentional as we were pre and during civil rights. We're in that age right now, all right? Because guess what? The system is intentional about what they want to do us. Why are we not intentional about what we want to do for us?
What a word. What a word. Awesome. Awesome. That's deep. We have a caller on line 1 that's been holding for a while. Good morning.
Good
You're
morning.
at the
Good
second
morning. Bless
half.
you.
Thank you for
Good
calling.
morning. How you doing?
Good
fine.
morning.
Hi. It's awesome to be on the show this morning with you, Miss Miller and Mr. Thomas. Thank you for taking my call. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I've been enjoying the discussion you're having this morning about the progress and the change in the city of New Orleans. And I want to ask a question. Just kind of looking back at some of the practices that Chief Pendleton integrated into the city of New Orleans when he was police chief, and looking at the controversy that surrounded Surpass, what would you recommend for the city of New Orleans with the changing of the mayor and, soon to be changing sheriff?
Great
What would
question.
you recommend, for the new basis of a sheriff? What type of person you would recommend, the criteria of the person you would recommend
that's
for coming into
That's
office?
an interesting question. I've been working in those sectors. Actually, I was the citizen that they picked last year to accompany our police chief to Washington, D.C. to work on the National PERF Community Policing Conference. I was fortunate enough that they thought enough of me to work on that national document. I'm also just been named to the DEA's Citizen Advisory Committee.
Wow.
I lecture and I actually consult folk on what we can do in terms of combating crime. There are a couple of things that have to happen. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. There was a very successful period during the Muriel administration where the great late playwright August Wilson talks about, he had a show called Two Trains Running that I was in. It talks about the duality of life.
Yes.
You can do both. While we're dealing with law enforcement, we can deal with root causes. What Mark Morial did when he was mayor was that he doubled the recreation department budget.
Okay.
Doubled it.
Wow.
Okay? While we were fighting crime, while Chief Pennington had these trending practices of fighting crime. The other thing we did was I co-chaired a conflict resolution task force with Bernadette Mills that focused on how we deal with conflict amongst each other, where we went into the schools and had peer support groups amongst kids in schools to teach kids how to de-escalate conflict. That worked. The late Kojo Livingston, the minister, had a group that I worked with him called the Peace Alliance. We actually met with gang members. Some might say killers and drug dealers. And folks. He actually met with them and would talk to them about changing their lives and have striking peace accords and putting their guns down. So you got to deal with that group anyway, right?
Correct.
So you might as well want to engage them. So that
I just wanted to kind of bring that out because I think that sometimes people forget about the prosperity that was actually happening in the city prior to Katrina and how the death tolls were decreasing, crime was decreasing, and sometime in progress we do need to look back to see what was successful and what we can bring back and re-implement. So I want to thank you for your answer, and y'all be blessed.
Carla, great point. New Orleans had a 60% reduction in violent crime. It was double the national average. The city at that time had 503,000 people. The murder rate went from 421 to 159. You had a growing black middle class. And home ownership went over 41% for the first time in recent history.
Wow. Progress.
Those practices were working. One of the biggest problems we have in the city of New Orleans is every time we have a new mayor and new elected officials, they're sore winners. They're so mad at everybody else who ran against them. They spend more time with a hit list than they do a help list.
Yes.
And what I pray is that we get to a time where these politicians use their positions as much as, who cares? Somebody ran against you and the people didn't support you. It's a competition. It's a race. You won.
Right.
Why are you mad at everybody else?
Absolutely.
And what I pray, and like I say, I'm supporting my cousin Troy Henry, but what I pray is that whoever wins mayor or whoever wins these elected seats, that they don't spend time punishing people who didn't support them. Figure out how to bring them on your team.
Absolutely. It has to be about the work.
It has to be about, look, you don't have to
yeah.
like everybody to include them in your team and to make a difference. But
To make a difference.
I'm sick of these mad winners. I would, as a former athlete, I always thought the person who should be mad was the one who lost.
Correct, not the one who won.
Not the one who won.
We're getting ready to go to break, and we'll be right back with Mr. Oliver Thomas. So true.
What's up, readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M. Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there.
Hi, I'm Linda Lewis with Lewis Armstrong Family Services here live at New Orleans Talk Network. We're here every Thursday at 11 a.m. Come join us. Thank you.
Save the date. The 2017 Boomers Family Expo and Health Fair promises to deliver. There will be food, boomer fun, and vendors galore, and an entertainment stage that will rock with your favorites from the 60s and 70s. Come one, come all. Boomers, bring your seniors and your grads to the 2017 Boomers Family Expo, Saturday, October 28th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Mellott Park Center in Gretna. For more information, visit 2017boomersfamilyexpo.com.
are back at the second half with Mr. Oliver Thomas, and we have a caller on the line, I understand. Hello?
Hey, good
You're
morning.
at the second half.
Good morning. Hello, caller.
Hello?
Hello. Hey, good morning.
Good morning to
Hey,
you.
good morning, you guys. Yeah, my name is Charles Stewart. I was calling in, excuse me, I'm a little hoarse. I have a couple of comments, at least I want Oliver to comment on. One is the city of New Orleans, being in, I live in Jefferson Parish, but being, you be in New Orleans awful lot. And
Right.
as a contractor, you being different neighborhoods. And I noticed, I see the Caucasian walking down streets such as First Street, Louisiana Avenue, normally you wouldn't see them walking. Seem to me they moving in the neighborhood. I guess my question would be, is the black community losing the popularity that they have? I think at one time, y'all can correct me, I think it was like 62% African American in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And I see that changing, and I want y'all to come in on that. And my second question is that, Mr. Thomas, I've been knowing you a long time and a great guy. I'm kind of disappointed you didn't run for mayor. But saying that is that I pray to God that God will bring up, and maybe you'll step out front, Oliver, some people like Dorothy Taylor, Jim Sanger, and Oliver Thomas. I think the city of New Orleans needs that really, really bad because
Thank you. I'll address both those
y'all guys
issues.
wasn't afraid to speak out.
Yeah.
And y'all were great leaders. I never forget, as long as I live, the Oliver Thomas, the Jim Sanger, and the Dorothy Taylor.
Thank you so much,
We
caller.
thank you so much for calling,
Look,
sir.
in terms of public service, I'm not ruling anything out in the future. Young family, my wife and my family give me the go. I love to serve, but that may be a couple years away. We have some great people running for office. I'm supporting my cousin, Troy Henry, from mayor, one of the smartest people in this town, successful businessman, but also community service. He's not just a businessman, he's a business owner. We have some people like Joe Bowie, who wonderful public servant. Now, when you talk about the city, it's a myth that we're losing our population. The black people, we're not leaving the city, we're being pushed out of certain communities. New Orleans East is the fastest growing African American community in the state, but it's getting younger or poorer. What we're being pushed out of are those economic cores or centers that are close to French Quarter, close to downtown, close to Central City. And that is where, in many cases, the policyholders and the financial institutions have kind of let us down. They have not had a plan to deal with that or to stop that level of gentrification. Look, white folks are smart, just like we're smart. They want to go where the land is cheap, where it's closer to the core.
Yes.
We're not going to continue to control gas prices forever. So where we have where we want to live where white folk are. White folk are making strategic living decisions to come back to where we used to be.
Correct.
Where we left. So we have to revalue who we are. Why isn't our neighborhood good enough for anymore? Why isn't Big Mama or Big Papa's house good enough anymore? They think it's good enough, so they're taking it and buying it. But the other thing is the financial institutions are not are redlining our communities and not giving us opportunities to invest in fixing up our properties, increasing those values,
Absolutely.
making funds available. And on the policy side, you don't see the type of city initiatives like you used to have under Mark Morial and others that use CBDG funds, NIF funds, and targeted funds to make sure that we could stay in historically African-American communities and where you protected the indigenous people who were there to make sure that you had affordable housing programs. We're losing out on the public side.
Awesome, awesome. There's so much more we would love to talk with you about. We're out of time.
I'll come back.
You're going to come back.
I'll come
Promise
back.
that you're going to come
I
back.
promise.
We love you. That's what
Love
today
you
is
back.
about. And just to say thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for representing us. Thank you for being that sounding board that we know that we can trust. We
you.
have someone out there who we can trust. Now, on behalf of the staff of the New Orleans Talk Network, they have a surprise today. Today is Throwback Thursday, and we could not staying alive.
Boy, I did not expect that one.
We love
I thought
Oliver
maybe
Thomas.
the short shorts and the basketball outfit, or one of them.
Oh my God, we'll have that next
pictures.
time. Oh my
That's-
gosh, isn't that you were something
Look,
else?
as my Uncle Joe would say, that's cold.
That's cold.
But I
You're
love
still
it.
cold. Tune in Monday through Friday, WBOK, 6:30 to 9
Good
o'clock in
morning
the
show,
morning.
OT and Early
The
Bird.
Good Morning Show with OT. Thank you so much,
you. God
sir.
bless
I
you.
just
Love
can't
you.
say thank you enough. We love
Boomers.
you. We love
Boomers.
you. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place, at the second half. And as I always ask you, what are you going to do with your second half? 50 down and 50 to go. Let's get busy.
I'm living my life like it's golden, 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 golden, living my life like it's 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 golden, golden.